it's Delaney.
And it's Katie, and this is Classically Black Podcast.
So we talk all this classical music and being black in the profession.
With trap beats playing in the background.
Okay. Wow.
People like, so already with the mess, huh?
All right.
Hey,
I feel like people probably just skip through the first 60 seconds.
I mean, it's, especially after that Tatiana thing, it's advisable.
I forgot we did that.
How could you forget?
Honestly, after we did it, like the next couple of days, I stayed bumping it. I was like, wait, let me just.
Yeah, it's low key lit. And then, like, I listened to it so many times that when I was editing it, I was tired of it. Oh, really? I was like, low key slaps.
I was listening back. I was like, I cannot bars.
I'm happy Mr. Taylor doesn't listen to this because he would literally find he could correlate everything we do on this show to every missed shift, like every single one.
I'm just bringing out a notepad with a list on it, and be like, let's see what was on the menu for Classically Black this week.
Oh, so that F sharp is too low, and that's because you decided at 3 minutes and 43 seconds to, like, just correlating them. He's good for it. You saw what he said to me the other day. Mm-hmm. Talking about, that's fine, but when I say off the string, I mean your bow leaves the string. Wow. I was like, did it just get cloudy in here? Like,
that sounds stuff I would say.
And like, it's Mr. Taylor, so I wasn't making him mad or nothing. Like, the lesson was going well. He just I said off the string. I'm like, it's off. He's like, no, you put it shorter on the string. I'm like,
these details.
I mean, like, what you really talking about? Like, you good?
Don't nobody even really care about all
I feel
that.
like if you really think about it, like, everything off the string, because what's really on even mean? Or off? What are we doing? But anyway, you got news for us this week?
Mm-hmm. So some sad news from Oklahoma, which could be anything. But
now I got a little nervous. You said Oklahoma. What they doing over there? Nah. Shout out to y'all in Oklahoma. Hey y'all.
Hey Okie.
You're annoying.
Not Okie.
What happened?
So the Double Stop Fiddle Shop. Oh, I didn't realize that rhyme. Okay, Double Stop Fiddle Shop.
Bust it down. Sorry.
Okay. But anyway, it's literally not a laughing matter. In Guthrie, Oklahoma, it burned down in a fire.
What?
Yeah. It burned down and it lost basically its entire stock. I know.
Okay.
Wait till you hear the.
I don't even know if I can. My heart can't take this
because apparently the fiddle shop and the flower shop next door also, like, they were both affected. But tell me why he had over 400 fiddles in there. 400.
I feel like that's a loss that you can't even, like, how does he even feel? You know what I'm saying? He probably like
400.
First of all, I honestly, like, even with the little whatever instruments my kids play, I die every time they drop a bow. I'm like, y'all fling these around like they're pencils.
Exactly.
And I feel like it doesn't matter how many times, because I feel like, I'm not gonna get too much into that because I'm not gonna put my business out there, or not my business, their business. Mm-hmm. But it doesn't matter how many times I tell them, do not touch the bow here. I'm like, do you know how privileged you are to play an instrument? Mm-hmm. Do not fling it around. Mm-hmm. Do not swing it around my throat. Do not hang it on the. It's like, it's not computing just because where we work, the culture is just not there yet because it wasn't established from the beginning.
You're right.
But like, this is probably the worst I've seen it. Yeah. Because when I taught public school, I'm like, you're not gonna act like everybody in the country playing an instrument. Mm-hmm. And they're like, okay, like, you ain't gotta be so loud. I'm like, nah, because y'all flinging stuff around and dropping it. Oops and
yeah.
Oops.
Some of the stuff you dropping it on the face of the instrument, bridges all bent up. I've seen some whole fingerboard off this one girl. She had a whole chunk off the top of her cello just open.
Like, I haven't seen it this bad, you know what I'm saying? Because like I said, when I taught public school, like, we not oopsing, and your kids, stuff happen, you know what I'm saying? Like, but it's not stuff that's happening now, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, I couldn't, when the other day a girl dropped her bow and I'm like, are you First of all, last time I dropped my bow, I had to take it to the shop. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, I just don't play around with my stuff. So even like little stuff like that, like watching like kids' instruments fall, shop burned down. I feel I'm.
Mm-hmm. For 400 fiddles and several guitars. And this guy, he's the guy who owns the shop. He's a 3-time national fiddle champion and recording legend, which is the word they use. But like some of the people that he's recorded with, like I could see why they would use that. He's recorded with Bob Dylan and Willie Nelson and Rolling Stones and stuff. So yeah, but one thing that remained unharmed was a mandolin that he had in a safe. And I guess the type of mandolin it was has been known to sell from between like $100,000 to $200,000. So I'm like, wow. I know he glad that ain't
right.
And like I'm sure like all his stuff is insured and stuff, but at the same time, imagine you get back in because he was out of town when it happened.
Oh my God, your stuff is on the floor. What?
And you come and there's like pictures. I'm gonna look the article and stuff.
I'm not gonna look.
It really doesn't even look. It doesn't.
Oh, it didn't burn down to the ground.
I mean, no, look, you can see the stuff. I'm gonna show you. Like that's what it like. They still look like violins, but you can tell some of them are burnt. Oh my
God, burn! That one well done over there. Nice and toasty over there.
Oh yeah, the ones on the end, they're literally pitch black.
They're literally black. Same color as this mic.
I just can't even like. Yeah, he was out of town when it happened, but I just can't even imagine. You walk up, and that's where your stuff was.
I could not imagine.
Like, it was up in flames. I don't even know. It doesn't really say like what exactly happened to the like why there was a fire. Actually, well, it does say that what made the fire burn so much was that there were
it's kindling in the shop.
I mean, yeah, but also there were extremely high winds that day, which we know all about over here in Rochester.
Everywhere,
but yeah. But that was one of the things that they said they faced that uphill battle with Mother Nature because of that.
Dang.
And I was just like, dang. Yeah,
that's
so
sad.
Terrible. Yeah. But next, so apparently there's a new radio station called Scala Radio, which is a new radio station for classical music. And it's the purpose of the radio station is to help it reach younger audiences.
I thought you said soca, and I was like, okay,
all right.
So where goes then? Sorry. Okay, we gotta go back. So for a younger classical music station, okay, called soca. Scala. Okay, we're back. So where goes then?
You done?
Yep.
Done. Oh, okay. So it's released. If you talk about me, every episode you on the mic talking about y'all need to see what they
but we're in episode 21, and this is the first time, but it's relentless. First of all, 21.
Actually, no, this is the second time because the last episode you was
no, that wasn't. We weren't recording.
We were recording.
But yeah.
You're annoying.
Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Delaney.
Anyway, it releases in March. And they did a little bit of research like to back up like their project and everything. And some of the research was kind of surprising. And I'm going to throw out a couple numbers. So basically, it said 45% of young people are saying that they see classical music as an escape from the noise of modern life, which let's stop there because
I'm sorry, what?
An escape. I need to escape from.
Classical music is my noise of modern life.
That's what I was like. I was like, wow.
Imagine I'm trying to go to bed at night and all I hear is digga 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 digga.
Right.
I'm gonna be rushing it when you sing it, Katie.
Right. I'm like, dang, y'all unwind to that? I wind up.
Can't even sleep without hearing boom.
Right.
Y'all, that's lit. I should have done something else so I could feel this way.
Right. Must be nice.
Must be nice to use classical music and playing instruments.
Right.
Like you feel.
You can unwind to some Walton before you go to bed.
That is so nice.
Right.
That should have been like a CNA, like the rest of the girls.
Could have been an architect or something.
Right, like a lawyer. And I could just come home and put on Beethoven 3 without thinking about the excerpt.
Right.
That sounds lit.
Listen.
Maybe the next life.
Right.
I'll be a rock.
All right, a rock. Then how are you turning on? Okay, let's move on.
I could be a rock in the foundation of a concert hall. I hear everything.
Okay.
Research. You see how to let them support my dreams.
Research also found that a new generation of listeners is switching to classical music through different sources. So 48% of listeners under 35 are exposed to it through classical versions of popular songs, which we see all the time on Instagram, people covering songs. And 74% of people in the same age group experience classical music from live orchestral performances at film screenings.
75%?
Yeah.
Oh, shoot.
And I'm like, that reminds me of a lot of the stuff that RPO does. Because, they've been doing a lot of that.
I mean, a lot of orchestras are moving towards, and I heard, I don't think everyone is happy with it, because it's like, and I'm torn on it, because, yeah, it's cool, but, does it really make it the movie even cooler because you have a live orchestra in front of you? To me, I'm just like, it's kind of gimmicky, but, whatever.
I feel like but one of the things that, overall they saw was that film screenings and experiential events like secret cinema, which is, basically what we're talking about, and themed performances are the key drivers to exposing people under 44, which I'm like, wow, that just shows how skewed the age range is, because I'm like, you talking about young and you talking about under 44, that's literally such a huge age group.
For real.
But I think I feel like to us, because we're in it, we know how lit just the regular repertoire is, so we're just like, why you need to do that? But I mean, in order to get people into the hall, that's the kind of stuff that they have to do. That's, they're saying themed performances, and I get that. You see your favorite movie, you're like, oh well, I was gonna watch that anyway. I feel like it's not even the orchestra that's getting them there. It's literally just these things that they already know that they want to see again, and then it's the orchestra's there.
First of all, I've never been to one. Have I? No, I've never been to one. No, RPO's been doing a lot. I did 3 or 4 this year. But it's I wouldn't, the main reason why I haven't been is because it's just going to distract me. I'm not going to watch the movie.
Yeah.
So that's just me,
And I'm really curious as to how that even gets people into classical music, because I feel like they're going for I mean, I guess maybe some people would, but I feel like they're going for that theme or whatever that they already know. And you said they're probably watching the movie and the orchestra is there, but I'm I feel like going and seeing a performance like that isn't going to be well, maybe I could try some Beethoven, you know what I mean?
Unless it was, I mean, like I said, I've never been to one, so do they do an overture or something?
Oh, maybe.
That's what I would recommend. But but listen, if they started doing that down at the New York Phil, run me my coins, because that was my idea right here on Classically Black, to do an overture first and then do the movie. So if I start seeing y'all girls throwing a little bit of Egmont on some junk, throwing a little bit of Coleridge Taylor, I'm coming for y'all. All right? Because right here, you heard it first. Oh. Gang, gang. I roll up.
Gang, gang.
Squad!
Oh, you're out of control today.
Perfectly in control, sister.
Whew, okay. So one of their team members said this quote that reminded me so much of Classically Black, because we did it first.
Exactly. Listen, it's a trend.
They were
my coins, please.
All right. They were basically talking about how classical music is seen as this elitist thing that's not accessible, and that's one of the things that they're trying to do. And one thing that he said was that even classical masters have shocking, entertaining, humorous, and sometimes tragic life stories.
I was just about to say your favorites were trash.
Yes. He said a classical composer is a normal human being with the same ups and downs that we all can relate to. And I'm well,
Schumann threw himself into the Rhine. He was so crazy that he threw himself into a river.
Hopefully you don't have the same ups and downs as Gesualdo,
because you'll be in prison.
Right. I mean, yeah, but I mean, there is some drama though, and we're bringing it to you on a silver platter over here at Classically Black. So
your favorites were trash. News flash. Ain't nobody was holy, but what's my dude? Bach was holy. And busy but holy.
Yeah, right. Because I was but it's his wife. So yeah, that's the only reason. Because
Michael, you find out you got look. Never mind. That's gonna be so inappropriate.
Let's get into it.
And Schubert was holy.
Well, I guess it only takes one person.
Yeah, could have been his little boo thing.
And a bunch of people had syphilis.
Yeah, that was a thing to have.
Yeah. Dang, I ain't got no syphilis. I'm gonna go down to the store and give me some.
It was probably the flu.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everybody have syphilis.
Yeah, because Scott Joplin had it. It was somebody else who had it too. I'm like, so y'all
was just, I was gonna say so. Let's move on.
We got a whole episode to go. Listen up.
My mom would have been like, so Katie, let's talk about you rededicating your life to the Lord. We got the Riri.
All right. That's all I got for news. Let's move on to intermission.
All right. So as you can tell by the title of this episode, we're talking about the baddest women in the game. That means a bunch of stuff. But we want to take a second to highlight some of the important women that we have in our life. It's Women History Month, but every month is Women History Month because you came out of a woman. And women, if it wasn't for us, like, y'all would be in a really tough spot. I mean, after Eve. Everything after her. Sis, you can follow one simple direction.
One simple direction. You had it all.
It's like, I feel like God was like, all right, bet, Delaney, you can go to any restaurant in Rochester. You just cannot go to Java's. And here you go. You know, I really might could go for some Java's. What?
Meanwhile, you got Spot down the street. You got Fuego up the street. You got...
There's a plethora of
Starbucks over here.
You got Taco Bell. You got Chick-fil-A. You got... It's a city. There's... And then, guess what? You can leave Rochester.
You can go anywhere in the world.
But you, the one place that God said not to go, you know, I really might could use a hot chocolate from Java's and a little cookie to dip in it. Like, sis, you ruined it for us all. Anyway, that's not the point. We want to thank the women in our lives. We appreciate you. Tell the women in your lives that you love them. You'll be nothing without them. You'll be lost because y'all men. But that's not the point of this. Okay. So Delaney, let's start out with this. Give me any women in general. You just want to give a little shout out to, a little highlight, little
a couple.
It could be a couple. Yeah, I have
shout
a couple.
out to Ray Ray and them, Tay Tay and them.
Hey, stand up.
I guess I'll give a shout out to all the women that are not my last one. So I'll give a shout out to my grandma for for teaching me how to be the trifling person I am today.
God, we have a source.
And I haven't even got it because at least I lower my voice.
What a mood.
Because I'll be looking at her like, so you have to lower your voice because now I'm going to be fighting in the middle of the street because of something that you said. Because I'm not just going to let nobody run up on my grandma. So now I'm in a tough spot. But anyway, my grandma, I guess I give a shout out to my big sister, Danielle Breezy.
Hey, girl.
Yeah, I think that's going to be it. All my friends and stuff.
That's all. Shout out to my cousin them, up, my sister them, Allison, Nadia, Yasmin, Monica, all I uno. That was so extra. My friends, of course, you know, Delaney and Wave, Nikki, hey girl, Caitlin, Ariana. Ariana's freaking killing the game. She's a teacher in Rockford, Illinois. Yes. Okay. She's a teacher in Rockford, Illinois. She teaches middle school English. She's only been teaching, this is like her second or third year teaching, already been nominated for Golden Apple Scholar. Like, she is just out here. If I need an encouraging word, I know exactly who to go to. I'll be like, best friend, hey girl. Like, I just love her. I love her down. Jaleisha, Sierra, Erica, hey. Of course, my sorors, Yip, Ratatata. You know, I love y'all. And of course, all the women of God who've prayed for me over the years. Sister Diane, Pastor Debbie, all of y'all. Because, listen, a girl needs some prayer. A girl needs a lot of prayer. Not player. We don't need no play.
Well, you just went on about Offset and other things, so maybe you get one coming your way.
You're not gonna let that go.
Because you.
Anyway. Literally the thing. Okay. So give me, Delaney, a woman who was a teacher, or if you don't have one, any other profession that you want to thank.
Well, I would say my 4th grade teacher, what was her name? Miss Kennedy. And I went to a black school, so I feel like I had other black teachers, but Miss Kennedy was like the first one that sort of like got me into wanting to learn about like where I came from and stuff, because like she used to live in Cameroon. in Africa, and she was just like, and I feel like that's when I realized, first of all, I was literally in 4th grade, but that's when I realized that I had such this skewed view of Africa that like is pushed on us. Because I don't know what I thought they was doing, but she was showing me the city, and I was like, y'all got cars and stuff.
Yeah.
And they really make it seem like people just doing nothing.
It's crazy. I remember I was watching a vlog. I watch vlogs, and I watched this one girl who lives in Ireland, but she's from Nigeria. So she's very well off. I'm talking about like servants, nice cars, the whole lot, right? She's a doctor. She went to study medicine in Ireland with her twin also did the same thing. And so, you know, whatever, I watch the vlog, whatever, I scroll through comments when I watch stuff on YouTube, just what I do. And people are like, this is not, like, you're showing the wrong view of Africa. Like, not everybody in Africa lives like this. I'm like, I'm looking at y'all like, people in the comments. So I'm like, so she's not supposed to show that she has, excuse me, money and stuff because what's supposed to be living in a hut? They walking around naked.
Y'all don't say that when people show the other view of Africa.
Like, I'm like, you guys were like and of course everyone was like, you know, like that. Those were like a couple of people, but of course those people had like the most comments on it because like you sound dumb.
Exactly.
Like she has money. What's wrong with having money? And like a lot of Africans have money.
And I feel like that doesn't even make much sense because, first of all, who is assuming that that's how all Africans are living when the overwhelming, like, idea that's pushed on us in America is that Africa is just, like, they just struggling and they can't do nothing. Meanwhile, whose fault is that? But
because you came and stripped us of our resources, so now we have nothing. But, okay. Anyway. That's not the point. Happy Women's History Month.
Right. Thanks, Miss Kennedy. Anyway.
My teacher that I want to thank is my 5th grade teacher, Miss Phillips.
Miss Billy Bill.
She was Black. She was a piece of work.
Okay. Dang.
I love her down, especially in retrospect. Like, she pushed us so hard, especially her Black students. And I remember one time I wrote a paper, you know, for her you had to write in pen and it had to be in cursive. Nothing less. And do kids even learn cursive anymore?
I don't think so. I think some lots of places have phased it out.
Yeah, so it had to be in pen, blue or black, and it had to be in cursive. So
I met a guy who could only write in cursive.
Really?
He could.
I remember somebody like that. I don't remember.
I was like, that's weird.
That is weird. Yeah.
You could only write it.
Okay.
What?
And so I wrote this paper or whatever. Turned it had a buku. I know it's buku, but it had a boku.
I've never heard buku.
What? The word in French is beaucoup.
Oh,
but like Black people say
over here.
But Black people be like beaucoup. So you know,
that's the only thing I've ever heard.
Really? It's beaucoup. BEAUCOUP.
You bilingual over here. So.
I'm literally not. Anyway, so it had a whole bunch of errors on it, and she made me redo it. It's a 5-paragraph essay in pen. I had to redo it because it had too many errors. Because it's in pen. Scratch. I made a mistake. She was like, redo it, the whole thing. So like she was just on me. We had to memorize what's that poem, The Raven, by Edgar Allan Poe. Yeah, stands like not the whole thing. Of course, we were 5th graders, but like she distributed them on the class to remember. Like she was no.
So why is she on your list? Because she already get them on her.
She was the first teacher to really like you gonna do something, you know what I'm saying? Like you have to you gonna have to work hard. Like that idea of work ethic, that idea that we're Black, we have to work twice as hard to get half as much, and like just always pushing for me. Like I remember for in Evanston, you take a test before you go to middle school. I don't know if they still do it anymore, to place you in math, and the whole point of the test really is to see, are you going to be in the advanced math class or are you just going to be in regular? Like, nothing wrong with being regular, right? So I was 1 point shy of being placed in the advanced math class. So she came in and she was like, well, I think Katie should do it because I could write her and say I think she'd be. And I was like, girl, if you gonna put me in that regular math class where everybody
Nancy.
I was like, you gonna put me in that regular math class where everybody else I could learn and have fun and learn how to braid hair with everybody else. And I mean, I ended up in whatever, but I would have gotten there faster. But yeah, Miss Phillips, she was that one. Okay. A woman who was a music teacher that you want to thank.
Yeah, when I saw this, I was like, dang, that's hard.
Yeah, because first of all, you play bass, and low-key, there's some kind of connotation there.
Yeah, and then conductors, there's not that many female conductors, so like there's only, you know, so I was like, oh, wait. But my very first music teacher, Sister Ash, was a member of my church, the church that I went to growing up, and she played the piano. And my mom found out, and she was like, "Well, can you give my daughter this piano lesson?" So we would go to Sister Ash's house and learn piano. That's back when I liked piano. And like, regardless of how I feel about the piano now, like, of course I liked it because like I know that music was something for me that has always clicked, like very like I learned quickly when it comes to music. That came to a screeching halt when it did. Because as you get older, like, things get more nuanced.
Yeah.
So came to a screeching halt. But then when I was like first learning it, well, just basically she was my first music teacher, and regardless of how I feel about piano now, I wouldn't be like even in the realm of music had I not done that, and had she not taught me. And I had another teacher after that who I literally despised. She was the worst. But yeah, so she's my only positive memory from the beginning.
A music teacher for me would definitely have to be Christiana Reeder. Christiana Reeder took over from my viola professor my senior year of undergrad when my viola professor became pregnant. And she was the one who was like, I think you should go to Eastman. And I was like, girl, if you don't hear this raggedy Stamens, ain't nobody getting to nobody's Eastman. And she was like, well, I think you should go to Eastman. And then I remember my recital went fine, but I didn't think it went good enough for no Eastman. And she was, so after my recital, my next lesson, I sat down with her and my teacher from undergrad, when we made a list of schools. So I went around the bush and I named every school but Eastman. She was like, and I said Eastman. And I was like, Eastman. And she held my hand the entire way. And I held my hand like, okay, Katie, did you turn your application? But she just like wanted to check in, like, you know, I talked to her on my audition day. You know, I played for her because I was student teaching during that fall. So going down to Normal Illinois to play for her and all type of stuff, and like playing for her after, and just whatever. I still talk. She's still texting with me from time to time, like, hey, what you doing with your life? I'm like, girl, I don't know. But yeah, I definitely, like, honestly, like, I would say that I'm indebted to her. I think I told her that. I mean, she's not even to take compliments like that, but I didn't tell her to her face to face, but in a letter I wrote to her, like, I'm definitely indebted to her, because honestly, sometimes all it takes for you is put a bug in my ear, because, you know, I don't gas myself up like that. So as soon as you said, I would never have applied to Eastman on my own, but as soon as you said Eastman, I said, oh shoot, you might think I could do Eastman. All right, babe, then we do an Eastman. Let's go. That's all it took, was her mentioning it. So shout out to you, Christiana. Okay, last one. A woman that you will forever be indebted to / or your biggest inspiration.
Hey, mommy. So on the day that we're recording this is actually my mom's birthday.
Happy birthday! Happy birthday to ya. Happy
Where you know that from?
birthday to ya. Happy birthday. What? Stevie Wonder.
Oh, you know what? It's weird because I know that from KJLH, which is a radio station, but Stevie Wonder owns KJLH. No, I just, when you said that, I was like, oh yeah that's why. Because they do birthday shout outs, and like they're like studios like right next to the school that I went to, like for elementary and like part of middle school. And so it's like our local radio station, and I remember like everybody listens to it, and that's like the song that they play for like when they do birthday shout outs. I remember one time my mom called me and like I had one.
Aww.
Yeah, so I was getting ready for school, listening to Steve Harvey, his morning show was on there, and it's a happy birthday. I was like,
Steve Harvey's morning shows everywhere. Plays in Chicago.
Yeah, but
oh, that's so nice. Our birthday song in Chicago was so much for ratchet. I have to play it for you. You'll be like, who is on that birthday line? It's Katie. And Katie, what's your zodiac sign? Leo. And it's today your birthday? Yes, it is. So show it is. And they'll be like, where you from? Evanston. Where you from? Evanston. Like, but that was like the station for that. Like WGCI is the rap station. So anyway, your mama.
My mommy, who, I mean, I've said this before, like on the Thanksgiving episode and stuff, like my mom just makes a bunch of sacrifices for me, and has, I mean, I guess like taught me some of the important things that for some reason school don't teach you, but like, you know,
school's a scam, but here we are in debt. So,
and like, just she's made, oh, I'm not gonna say that, but basically she just made it a priority to be like a great parent, and
not everyone does that.
Exactly. And it's just like some people, they either, first of all, don't even do the bare minimum, or some people just do the bare minimum, or some people go above and beyond, and that's like where my mom is at. And I've learned so many things from her, just like in life, and on how to carry yourself as a woman, as a Black woman. And I learned a lot of financial things from my mom, which thank God, because I would literally be lost without her on that kind of stuff. I'm like, so can you run that back? Literally, like, that's one of the biggest things I've learned from my mom too. Like, she told me, like, everyone around me would speaking as herself, everyone around me has made terrible financial decisions, and I've made it a priority to, you know, to make good financial decisions for myself and for my kids, so that, you know, you guys are set up well. And that's one of the things that, like, I know, like, I'm not worried about that kind of stuff, because like she's taught me how to, you know, do all that kind of stuff. She's taught me how to everything, literally everything. Thank you, mommy. And also, me and my mom, we literally, like, we don't have like very much, I guess, like, filter in between us. So I'll just be saying whatever and be like, especially now that I'm grown, because now, like, she let more stuff slide, and right. She be saying some stuff, I'm like, mommy, why would you say that to me? I'm still your kid. Like some stuff that's be inappropriate. But sometimes I just feel, let me throw this out here, see how she gonna react, because I'm grown. So
all right,
Lisa. Anyway,
I also say my mom has done a lot for me. You know, I admire her a lot because she's a single mom, and, you know, I could be like a lot sometimes. I know you would never guess that, but I could be a lot sometimes, and you okay? Anyway, I know you would never guess that. I could be a lot sometimes, and we have opposite personalities, but my mom has definitely gone above and beyond for me. Especially as a single mom, I've watched her navigate a lot of stuff, had to deal with a lot of stuff, and I really admire her for that. Also, one of the biggest things I thank my mom for is, no matter how many times my dreams change, no matter how many times I flip the switch, like, she's always on board, she's always supported, she's always like, yeah, okay, so that's what you're doing, okay, like, I'm gonna go for it, you know. And it's just like, not everybody has that, you know, not everybody has someone who's supporting them through whatever. And I really thank my mom for that. Like, shout out to you, Ina. Hey, mommy.
Yeah, I was like, that's one thing that I like forgot to say about my mom. Basically, like, just I realized, like, once I got older, you know, like, there's always that family stuff that goes on when you're a kid you don't know about.
Grown folks' business, so you find out it's really just mess.
There's some things that I found out that my mom was going through, because, like, mostly, like, my parents have been divorced, like, basically since forever, and like, my mom, of course, she got remarried when I was, like, in high school, but, like, growing up, when she had, like, there's some family stuff that I didn't know was even going on, that I found out when I got older, and I was like, I would have never known that she was going through that. She always kept a brave face. That's why I'm like, sometimes it's hard for me even now to, like, think, like, dang, my mom's a person who's just not invincible.
And that's one thing
that's crazy.
Especially, like, I wouldn't say I'm spoiled, because, like, I don't think I act spoiled. I mean, I'm an only child, you know what I'm saying? So I was privy to see more things, especially I'm an only child and I have a single mom. So I was privy to see a lot more things, but I just watched my mom handle stuff with grace. And also the thing I've learned quickly is that, like, my mom is a human being. My mom, she makes mistakes. She has her own life. She has her own desires. She has her own wants. She has her own needs. And that's something that I've definitely had to learn. Yeah. And I'm still learning.
That's like,
you know, like, I'll be like, why didn't you just,
and
like, mommy, like, why didn't you just, you ain't, man. And it's just like, right. And I also have to, like, be like, yo, Katie, like, she's a person and she's not perfect. And, like, she was Ina before she was your mom, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, that's something that I've definitely had to learn. And I just, like, watch her navigate. So I'm gonna be like, okay then, you know,
right. It's weird.
Even when I don't agree with it, I'm just like, you are still Ina before you're my mom, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's crazy. I feel like that's just such a huge burden, because we really do see our moms, especially when you have, like we said, moms that are, like, doing everything they can and, like, more for us. Like, you see them as just this invincible person that just could do everything, and it's just like, dang, like some of the stuff that she was telling me, like because when she would go to work, my mom was a flight attendant, so she would be gone, and had to leave us with our grandma and stuff. Like it was just crazy.
I remember one time, a couple months ago, I was like, Mommy, you take me to the airport in the morning. And I had a flight at like something dumb, like at like 7 a.m. I'm like, you take me to the airport before you go to work? And she was like, no, I don't want to do that. I looked at her, I was like, what kind of mother would just have me out here just, now I gotta take a $30 cab and you don't care, you gonna be drawing your sheet while I'm out there? And I could be like dramatic. And I was just like, but you have to go to work all day. And you want to, now I want you to wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning, take me to O'Hare. It's like,
I be asking some stuff from my mom. She'd be like, does that seem, she'll like sit down and be like, does that sound fair to you? Would you? I'll be like, no, but you my mama, so.
And I feel like the shift, because I feel like before she'd be like, yeah, what? Now she's like, you grown girl, you taking that cab. That's what you doing. Like, and I'm like, but I don't got $30. Well, she's like, well, I'm sorry. Like,
I'll be sending you the screenshots of my mom be like, she'd be like, this is the cutoff for this bill. I'm like, dang.
Like, that's one of the, I really respect my mom, because it's like, also like, especially the older I get, especially like, I'm not bratty, but I just be like, mama, like, come on then, like, what you doing? And it's just like, but my mom is a person, and she doesn't want to wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning to take me to the airport. She doesn't want to. Why?
That thing that you said about the phone bill, when you was like, it's already factored into your budget, I'm gonna use it. When Lisa tried to kick me off.
When I tell you, my mom called me, she was like, I heard your episode, and let me tell you something. I don't mind paying it now, but girl, the minute you get that job, we figure something out. I said, mommy.
My mom literally gave me an age. I was like,
oh, shucks.
Yeah, because she taking everything that she do with my older sister and being like, so would you? I'm like, but you gotta factor in the
my mom. I just be like, I'm finna milk this as long. I'm like, mommy, it's already in your budget. Why would you want me?
Now you gotta overturn and see where you're gonna allot that money. My mom be like, I already know where.
And I'm like, you so used to paying that little extra something, you might as well just keep on doing it. Like, you're not missing that money. Like, mommy, look, how long have I had a phone? Huh? How long have I had a phone? It's like, I'm gonna
use this one.
It's like, I'm really doing you a favor, because now what?
Now I gotta use the brain power to figure out where you gonna put that
extra money. It's like, you can't miss what you never had.
Right. What you gonna put in your savings, which I'm gonna get after you gone anyway. So no. So I mean, indirectly. Do that. I would say that to my mom. She would be like, wow.
My mom is sensitive, so I wouldn't say that.
Oh, really? My mom would laugh.
Me and my mom are, she might, I can't tell with my mom. She gonna kill me. I can't, because it's like, you don't know what you're gonna get. But my mom, me and my mom are like, seriously just opposite. Like, we're just opposite personalities, period. Like, we're not, people be like, that's your mom.
Your mom are quite similar.
Really? Nah. My mom is quiet and like, well, depending. My mom can be quiet and whatever, and I'm just like, hey, yeah. Like,
actually, me and my mom are not that similar. We have very similar senses of humor and sense of humor. I play all day, so like that is a big part of my personality. So that's what I mean. But that's pretty much the only thing we have in common.
My mom's not a jokester.
My mom plays all. You've heard it. You heard it first.
Tippy top.
You know exactly how my mom.
I would never forget that for the rest of my days.
I was like, I have to explain this to you. You know very well.
For the rest of my days. Wow. Shout out to your mom. Shout out to my mom. Shout out to everybody, mama.
Right, everybody, mama.
Okay, and we're moving on. All right, so it's time for the crux. I wanted to use that word for a minute. Did I use that right? I'm so Jamaican. I don't even know. The crux of our... Anyway. Time for the crux of our episode. So we talked about baddest women in the game. We talked about our favorite women in our lives, but now it's time to get into it. So what we did is we took 3 women composers from 3 different times. Around about, spanning about 100 years or a little bit more than that. And we are putting them side by side with a bad mamma jamma black woman of the same time period. Not necessarily a composer. Some of them, one of them I think is an artist, but just because we've already talked about Price, we've talked about Bonds, we wanted to do something else. So we have women composers that we really like, and then we paired them with a significant black woman that was alive during the same time, being sickening, killing the game. So take it away, Delaney. Why don't you start us off?
All right, so the first woman composer that we have is Clara Schumann.
Hey, Clara.
Hey, Claire Bear. No, I'm just kidding.
She was Clara something.
So of course Clara Schumann was married to Robert Schumann.
I mean, Robert Schumann didn't really do nothing to nobody except he was just dummy weird and kind of like.
Yeah, but after I read that whole thing about when they met, I was,
Yeah.
I just, I'm still on that. I just read it a couple minutes, well, not a couple minutes ago, but you know what I mean. They had 8 kids together, which
Woo,
sis, are you good?
No, never mind. I was gonna say something. This is not that kind of podcast.
It could be, but anyway,
never mind. I was gonna try to.
I mean, you'd already give us a taste. Oh wow. Okay. I know people turning their volume up like, I can't hear it. What should you say? So Clara Schumann was a child prodigy, which I wish, sis.
I wonder how true that was though, because I feel like everybody good now. How? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? We should talk about that.
That's true, but then also like everybody good now, but it's like to be like sometimes I look at child prodigies, I'm like, where are you going from here? Like you're 7. Where?
That's true.
I'm like, but yeah, apparently her dad had her taking 1 hour piano lessons per day, which I'm like, could you imagine having a lesson every day?
No, I wouldn't want a lesson every day.
I would not want. I could do 2 lessons a week.
I could do 2 lessons a week,
especially once you get into like having more like repertoire.
Especially Mr. Taylor's very thorough.
I wouldn't want to have 2 lessons a week with the schedule that I have now, just because practicing is a feat. Like, but like when if I had a lighter course load, then definitely 2 lessons or 2-hour lessons I could do.
I don't like 2-hour lessons because the notes start blending together. One time I had a 2.5-hour lesson. Oh my god, it was terrible. I was grateful for it. Don't get me wrong, but it's just like,
yeah. I mean, I bet, because I remember one time a teacher gave me a 2-hour lesson and all we did was Strauss and Hindemith and Wagner. I was like, my brain feels like mud after this. But anyway, and she was like a kid in these one hour per day. I'm like, oh my goodness.
What else they had to do? They had no.
That's true.
Nothing. No, they had no YouTube, no silly putty, no nothing. What they finna do? And if it was winter, can't even run out outside. You might as well take that hour lesson every day. And then practice the rest of the day. I would have been child prodigy too. Could all been child. We could be elite. Sorry.
She met Robert Schumann at age 9, and he was 9 years older. So that's a story for a whole other episode. Because what? But she was praised by several prominent composers as a pianist, such as Paganini, Chopin, Liszt. And she was also named a Royal and Imperial Chamber Virtuoso, which is Austria's highest musical honor.
Okay, then, sis.
Come on, sis.
Get it how you live it.
She was really well known for playing Beethoven's violin sonatas with a violinist and friend, Joseph Joachim. And lastly, she wasn't really recognized for her compositions until like a while after she died.
Yeah, because y'all love to sleep on people.
Right, exactly.
Y'all are exhausting.
But she was an internationally renowned pianist in her time. Which even that is like a feat, because like as a woman, like I remember learning in music history, like the whole salon culture thing, and like how Fanny Mendelssohn was like not really allowed to perform outside of those settings and like all that. So, and they were alive at the same time. So for her to even to be internationally renowned is still like a feat. But yeah, I have a piece by Clara Schumann. It's her 3
Okay, that was cute.
You're right. I know. I was like, okay, sis. Yeah, but also living around the same time as Clara Schumann was a woman named Charlotte Ray. Charlotte Ray was the first Black female lawyer in the United States.
Yes, ma'am.
Right. And she had a lot of firsts, actually, a few of them. She also she was educated at Howard University Law School.
Hey, I'm a special on right now.
Hey, you stand up.
I should have gone to Howard. Sorry, I get emotional every time.
Dang. I was gonna say, you could be Richard, but y'all wouldn't have been there at the same time.
No.
Anyway.
And also, I went where I was supposed to
go. But in addition to being the first Black female lawyer in the U.S., she was also the first woman admitted to the District of Columbia Bar.
Yes, ma'am.
Right. And the first woman admitted to practice before the Supreme Court of the District of Columbia. Her admission was used as a precedent by women in other states who sought admission to the bar. So,
right,
lead by example. She was admitted to Howard School of Law because she applied under the name C.E. Ray, and she used that alternate name, of course, to disguise her gender, so that her admission would not be instantly revoked. And I was just like, wow.
Even at Howard?
Really, yeah, like there's some people that say like, oh well, there was a policy that blah blah blah, but also policies are written on paper, and you still don't know people are following that.
Yeah,
some people are saying like, oh well, they admitted people, but that's just like the same thing as saying like, oh, when PWI started admitting black people, like they could go there, like yeah they could, but it was made miserable for them. So like in that's still, we still have cases today of people looking at your name and discriminating against you because you're black. So like that's why I'm like, that doesn't really, I believe it.
Yeah,
but,
of course I believe it.
Yeah,
it's weird that at a place like Howard, that's for people who are oppressed, you are further oppressing. But okay, go off.
And she actually only practiced law for a few years because the prejudice against African Americans and women made her business unsustainable. So,
yikes!
You're right. I was just like,
yeah, because I mean, like you did all of that, but no one wants you to represent you,
right?
Exactly. Represent them.
But she specialized in corporate law. She did, she was able to practice for a few years, but that was ultimately,
wow.
Yeah, but I mean, she paved the way for so many people. So I bet she was unbothered because y'all could never. So
I mean,
and I hope you all lost your cases.
Yep. Period. Okay, so today I'm talking about Rebecca Clarke. Hey, girl. Born 1886, died in 1979. She was born in England, and actually she was a violinist. She started her violin studies at the Royal Academy of Music. However, keep the time in mind. Her freaking harmony teacher proposed to her at the age of 17, and her father was like, nah, this ain't it, and pulled her from the school. Speaking of her raggedy daddy, he kicked her out because she was like, so this like sleeping around you doing and all this this ain't it. He was like, all right, bet, well, in my house I sleep around, so you can go. So kicked her out, cut her off, had no money or whatever. So she started her career as a violist. I'm like, I love how y'all could just pick up viola, but I'm not gonna drag Rebecca Clarke because it's Women's History Month. So she started her career as a violist, toured around, killed the game. She was the first woman female musician in the Henry Woods Queen Orchestra, because y'all was only hiring men back then. What did that even sound like back then? Well, let's keep going. So she rose to fame with her Viola Sonata in the Elizabeth Sprague Coolidge composition competition. She tied with the Ernest Bloch Viola Sonata, which I'm like, all right, girl. 19. I'm not a fan of that. It's what Adrian played last week. The 19. I was like, Bloch in general, I'm not really so thick. And
I played that Shlomo piece for cello and orchestra. I'm like, this is literally cacophonous.
Like I just and
nobody knew what was going
I'm also not a huge fan of like English composers. I'm trying to think of one. I don't mind. What's the dude? Oh shoot, what's his name? Elgar. I only like one piece of Elgar.
What's the other one?
I don't mind Britain because I like Simple Symphony.
Oh, okay.
But aside from that, I don't know. I'm not really a huge fan of English composers. I don't really know what it is. So, I was like 19. And so, the reason why she tied with Bloch was the fact that her friend was running the competition, so they thought it would be conflict of interest. But I'm like, if it's just better, it's better. Like, but okay, y'all love to be problematic. So the thing is, people were like, ain't no way sis wrote this, like to her face. Like that's what the reviews were like. Yeah, they were like, ain't no way. Rebecca Clarke is a pseudonym for Ernest Bloch. I'm like, Ernest Bloch could never write this. And they were like, nah, she ain't really write this, blase. Some people said she didn't even exist. Like y'all, it's like
y'all do anything. I just go to the ends of the earth.
Are y'all stretching before these reaches? Because they're like, there's no way a woman could write this. I couldn't even fathom being alive in a time like that. People were saying like, ain't no way sis wrote this, right? So most of her music remains unpublished, and that's because her estate is holding on to it. So
which why?
I don't really understand that, but I mean they have their reasons. So we're hoping to learn more about her compositions the more that her music gets released. So two pieces I really want to highlight. It's supposed to be one, but first of all, the piece that she's most famous for is her Viola Sonata, and then my favorite violist on it, Tobias Zimmer. You never deserve to be a Zimmerman. Oh, perfect. A female violist playing a female viola. Hey, gang. To be a Zimmerman.
So when you playing it,
I have to play the sonata. But to be a Zimmerman is just like, I melt every time. And there's a video of her on YouTube playing a Hofmeister viola concerto when she was like 12 with some orchestra. She won some competition, completely unbothered. Like, no, I'm sorry, Stamitz. Completely unbothered. It's like she been here. Okay, to be a Zimmerman ain't new to the game. Okay, the second thing I must give an honorable mention to is the Dumka piano trio with violin, viola. I just love this piece, and I forgot how lit. I mean, anyway, here we go. Freaking okay. Viola, bring up the rear, sis. Caitlin Edwards. Caitlin, hit me up. We are doing this. Period. Okay, so around the same time, we must give our tribute to the infamous Ella Fitzgerald, also known as the First Lady of Song. Born 1917, died 1996. Oh shoot, in my lifetime. She had a rough start, lost her mother at the age of 15, went to a reformatory but had to escape because of bad treatment. So she pulled a ticket at the amateur night at the Apollo, and after that she was like, nah, I'm winning everything, winning every talent show she could. She won the attention of Chick Webb, who was a drummer and band leader, and that's who put her on. So she went around touring with him, and through working with him, she was able to develop her art of scatting. So she's the kind of the one who like brought that on. She did a recording of A Tisket a Tasket, and that's what made her famous. She sold 1 million copies and stayed on the pop charts for 17 weeks after that. She was the most famous jazz singer in the U.S. for over half a century. She won 13 Grammys, recorded over 200 albums, and sold over 40 million albums. She worked with, let me change that. People who got to work with her included
listen,
Nat King Cole, Duke Ellington, Count Basie, Frank Sinatra. It just goes on and on and on. She had a bunch of health problems, so eventually she was just like no longer able to perform. Like she had both of her legs amputated because of diabetes. However, she's certainly a queen. Like we have never since. I just love her stuff. Every once in a while I get into a jazz mood. I'm not really that. So I'm gonna play a little bit of A Tisket a Tasket. You know the song because your childhood, if it was lit, All
right.
So I'll play a little bit of this. Is what made her famous. We got one more composer. Okay, so I'm talking about Augusta, also known as Gusty Reed Thomas. That's her nickname, Gusty Reed Thomas. Augusta Reed Thomas was born in 1964. She is still alive. Hey girl. She's a Grammy-winning American composer. She studied composition at Tanglewood, Yale, Northwestern, and the Royal Academy of Music. She's also a junior fellow in the Society of Fellows at Harvard University. She's the longest serving Mead composer in residence with the Chicago Symphony Orchestra. So she was there from 1997 to 2006, and she worked with Daniel Barenboim and Pierre Boulez. During her residency, she was one of 2 finalists for the 2007 Pulitzer Prize in Music with the piece Astro Circle. She's commissioned during that residency, because she has done so much more than that. She commissioned 9 orchestral work and helped establish the Orchestra Now series, which is like one of the things the Chicago Symphony Orchestra does. But here's where it just gets me excited. So not only did she learn composition at these places, she was like, I can go back and teach it. So she's taught composition at Eastman. Hey, 585 stand up. We at Maine and Gibbs. Meliora. You pulling up to Maine and Gibbs? Listen. Hey, girl.
She was just here, yeah.
She was just here. Also, she worked here for a long time. Like I think when I met her, she had just, I told you this. Like I stan Augusta Reed Thomas because I contacted her. I was learning one of her pieces. I was learning incantation.
Mastering.
I was learning incantation. All right, that's Incantation by Augusta Reed Thomas. So tell me who is alive. right now.
I'm just so excited. Okay, so for the next person who is for the culture and still alive today, Miss Angela Yvonne Davis.
Come on, Yvonne.
Listen,
that's
y'all.
blackity black. Yvonne?
I mean,
how'd you spell it?
Y.
Yeah.
So Angela Davis was actually just here speaking at the University of Rochester, and I had to go because, like, usually I stay a little bit after work, to help wrap everything up, and my boss is black, so I was like, Angela Davis, he was like, go he was like,
oh, I love him,
right? So
trifling but great.
So Angela Davis, if you didn't know, but I'm not here to shame people for not knowing things, but still,
Baby girl.
was an American is because she's still alive, an American political activist, academic, and author. Her research interests are feminism, African American studies, critical theory, Marxism, popular music, social consciousness, and the philosophy and history of punishment in prisons. In 1969, Angela Davis was the acting assistant professor in the philosophy department at UCLA. And she was actually let go because of her ties to the Communist Party. Mm-hmm. But then she was reappointed because it was like, no, you can't do that just because she's in a political party. Right. But then she was let go again because of inflammatory, because of her inflammatory language used in several of her speeches. Because I mean, she was a member of the Black Panther Party. Mm-hmm. She was a communist. She was, against police and prisons, and she's a prison abolitionist too. So they let her go for that reason. But shortly after this, because that was in 1969 to 1970, and of course the most popular thing to note when you think of Angela Davis was what happened with her in 1970 when she was arrested. Well, there was a warrant for her arrest, and she was charged with aggravated kidnapping and first-degree murder. And she was placed on the FBI's 10 most wanted fugitive list, which I think she was only the second or third woman to ever be placed on that list.
Oh, shoot.
Come on, making history. Fugitive, stand up. Or sit down because you want to stay hidden. But okay. Fugitive, sit down. And she was a fugitive for 2 months until they found her. She fled California. They found her in New York City.
Sis, out of all places to go.
I mean, that is a big city.
That's true.
But also, she probably couldn't have left the country.
You can't leave the country.
Which she probably could have found a way because Kathleen Cleaver and him was in anyway. But more than 200 local committees in the United States and 67 in foreign countries, they were pushing for her release. But she was incarcerated for 16 months during her trial, and two people put together her $100,000 bail when she was eventually granted bail. Mm-hmm. But which I know she was sweating all throughout this. She had an all-white jury, which I know she was like, I'm going down.
Yeah. Like, absolutely.
Because
even God looking at you,
right?
Like,
she got that big old afro. She, and she's never once wavered on her, anything, mm-hmm. Just because she was facing, life in prison, first-degree murder. But they actually found her not guilty. And I've totally glossed over this, but the reason why she was charged with first-degree murder and kidnapping was because she purchased guns for bodyguards who then used them to occupy a courtroom, and 4 people were killed in that. So, and there was some discrepancy about whether or not she was in correspondence with some of the people that were doing it. Well, like, of course she was, because she knew them and they were her, but I think the question was whether or not she knew that was going to happen. But she was found not guilty, and after that she was invited, to Cuba because to speak on like communism and that sort of thing. And ever since then she was just writing books and going back to teaching and educating, and just has been a speaker all over the world, and frequently travels to college campuses and stuff. And her last stop, University of Rochester, and just showered us with knowledge.
Ooh.
Right. Oh, what an inspiration, Angela Davis.
For real.
Because I couldn't. I'm telling you, my heart could not take all that.
Girl,
white jury for killing a judge. A judge was killed. That is a miracle.
That's literally a miracle. Because even God was probably looking at her like, "Girl, I don't know how we getting out of this."
And I know. And you're a Black Panther. Chile. And you're in America. Like you're
in America out of all countries.
The reason why she was like, why they were trying to get her off of the faculty at UCLA, like I said the reasons why, but there was push from literally Ronald Reagan, who was the governor of California at the time, because she was a communist, and he was in the news calling her a racist and all that. Like, I mean, and a terrorist, and she.
Meanwhile, y'all terrorists are right here in American soil.
Literally,
but that's not the type of podcast.
Ooh, Chile. Well, but she still is an influential woman. Like, I mean, Angela Davis. Whew, I could never. But
go ahead, sis. Fight the power. But let us know what you think about our choices. Also, did we forget anybody? What are some female composers that you like? Let us know. Anybody else alive around the time of Clara Schumann and Rebecca Clarke? Let us know who you wish we would have highlighted. Email us at classicallyblackpodcast@gmail.com, and we are moving on
to Black Excellence,
where we hype you up, gas you up, and give you your props, because there's room for everybody at the top. And this week we are talking about Jessica McJunkins. Hey girl. If you don't know Jessica, now you know. I met Jessica. Where did I meet Jessica? Did I meet her at Color? I met her at a festival.
I mean, everybody know by now.
I met her at the Color Music Festival. I met her at a festival, and I was like, "Who is Jessica? She's sickening. She walks with confidence." I was like, "Who is this?" I'm like, "Who is Jessica?" And Jessica, like, literally skyrocketed. Like, she plays for Beyonce. She just got off tour with Beyonce. She's absolutely a sweetheart. She works really hard. She was on Jimmy Fallon. She's just doing all types of stuff. I'm gonna link her bio and her Insta, so you can follow all the stuff that she's doing. Like, literally absolutely sickening. Just an amazing violinist, absolute sweetheart, super duper talented. So yeah, there we go. Our Black excellence for the week is Jessica McJunkins. You got a piece of the week for us?
All right, so my piece this week, I blanked on it for a second because it's something that I usually would never pick. And this is, and I feel like this is the second time I've done it. Yeah, because my last piece of the week was Holst, and I was like, that's surprising. But this is even more surprising.
Oh, here we go.
Because it's the composer. You're gonna be like, girl, what is Vivaldi? Right? Okay, but let me tell you, because I usually don't mess with nothing Vivaldi does.
I mean, his little season is kind of cute, some of them.
However, that double cello concerto,
I'm not aware.
It does not sound like, I'm like, why didn't you write more stuff like this? It's lit. It's really lit. Yeah, it's a double cello concerto for 2 cellos and strings. But I remember actually I played it in high school because they did this whole thing where like most of the seniors got to play like concertos with the string ensemble, and like you had to compete to do it with the orchestra. But we played this, and I was like, "Now hold up, Vivaldi, I didn't know you was writing." Mm-hmm. But yeah, I'm gonna link the piece in the description so y'all can see what Vivaldi should have been doing throughout his career.
Wow. I mean, those violin, he wrote those for his students, you know what I'm saying? He just was like, they ain't had nothing to play, and he was the director of that orphanage, so he was like, you can play these stuff, so that's why he wrote them.
These stuff.
But
he that's
what he was doing. All right, Vivaldi.
Right here.
He love a good da.
It's lit. Ooh, Chile. But yeah, I'll link it.
All right, girl. Thank you for listening to Classically Black Podcast. Don't forget to follow us on social media at Classically Black Podcast. Don't forget to email us if you have a piece of the week recommendations. You got Black excellence. You got intermission ideas at classicallyblackpodcast@gmail.com.
Because we try to come up with... No, I'm just kidding.
And we will talk to y'all next week.
All right, bye, y'all.
Bye, y'all. Gang, gang.
Okay.
Bust down, Bakiana.
Okay.
Okay.
Turn it off.